I DJ and produce under 2 different names, which is Benny Rodrigues, which is like the versatile guy who goes from deep house to techno to everything in between. And then there is Rod. I never wanted to be this DJ playing for crowds and building a brand and a company. That was not my intention at all. The one thing that I really had from the beginning that I always felt really strongly connected with is that I always wanted to be as independent as possible. This is my main focus point in my whole life, just being an independent guy, doing what he wants, doing what he prefers. I was like 13, 14 years old, and I obviously loved my music, like rap stuff, hip hop, you know, just a bit of everything. But I didn't have this big love for something specific, which changed when I came to live at my dad. He was listening to house music and he was going out all the time. And he had always his radio on. And at some point I was, you know, he had this radio on and I was hearing this really, really weird frequency. I really felt like aliens were talking to me, you know, and I was speaking their language or something. The show was called Planet E and they were playing this really obscure Detroit-inspired stuff, you know, like tech house before tech house became tech house, like really underground stuff, Kenny Larkin, Stacey Pullen, you know, old Derek May stuff, which I didn't know at the time. I was just listening to it like, whoa. I was still playing soccer at that time, but I was really, really more starting to create this obsession for the music coming out of this studio right here. The radio show, they would play music for 3-4 hours. And then every hour they would give tickets away for like parties. So I figured like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should try to call, you know, try to make contact with the people behind the show. I didn't know anyone. I was just thinking, I want to go to the studio. Where is it? I thought it was a spaceship. The first time they were giving tickets for Love Parade in Berlin in 1997 or 8. The competition was like, you know, name a reason why you want to go to the Love Parade. And I remember this was my first time that I didn't make up one reason. I kind of took it with me and I made like a booklet of 8 pages. I was like, you know what? I give you my father's porn collection if you let him go to the Love Parade. When the time came, you know, they announced the winner. The winner is Benny Rodrigues, and I heard my name on the radio for the first time. I'm like, whoa, okay. And so I called, like, yeah, I'm the winner, and like, yeah, where, blah, blah, you can pick him up. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 14. I had no idea how the music was presented. And I came in here and I was really nervous, and then I saw there, like, it was all coming from this black, you know, this, yeah, vinyl. Like from that moment, it was my mission to make sure that I would be here every Friday. I would stay here till the end of the show, and then I would take a shower at home and go straight to my soccer game, which obviously at some point I just sucked at it because I never slept. And I started asking the DJs questions like, which record is this, you know, and I would write it down. And then I would go to the record store and, you know, hand over a list. In the record store was actually my moment, the moment where I could like experience all the records myself. It's where I, you know, hold a vinyl for the first time in my hand. It was also like a magical moment. And long story short is that in the end, the owner of the store, Basic Beat, and he used to be a very well-known DJ, Ronald Molendijk, he actually came up to me one day and he's like, hey kid, what's your name? I'm like, yeah, Benny. He's like, you know what? Don't you have any school? I'm like, yeah, actually I do, but yeah, I'm here. And he's like, you know, you're already hanging here so much of your time and I might pay you for it, you know? Just go work behind the counter and you know, help other people. And then, you know, in the meanwhile, you know, you search for your favorite music and you get paid for it. And I was like, what the fuck? This is okay, man, of course. The energy for me was always focused just on the music. And I think because of this, a lot of people, you know, who had like influence, like the booker for Now Wow, DJ Lacroix, and he would see me always like mixing and being hungry, but not hungry for the shine, you know, for playing for people, but just hungry with the music. So at some point he just said like, hey, you know, come play for my night in Now Wow. All of a sudden, within 3 months or so, I was this 17-year-old kid playing in the biggest club of Holland. Like, I was a resident, and to be honest, I mean, it's now 15 years later, and sometimes I remember everything, obviously, but I'm like, I'm just catching up now. Like, what happened?
Well, he's one of those artists that really embodies what he does. I literally know people who have like greater knowledge of house and techno music, especially, than he does. He really feels what he does, you know. He's like this big charisma when he's behind the decks, and people, they relate to that. They get energy from that. Of course, the skills that he has, the selection that he makes, the charisma on stage that makes him probably my favorite DJ.
I'm really happy to make my name in an era where you didn't have to produce, to get gigs. And nowadays, I'm a DJ and I produce as well. And, I have some productions on cool labels, etc. But to me personally, it's I'm a DJ. My own style has always been about being as open as possible within the house and techno field, from really deep stuff to more mainstreamish stuff with an edge. But I have a certain authenticity I tend to believe in my own music, and I always felt like this is who I am. I'm not gonna separate myself into different kind of names or whatever. It's all Benny Rodrigues. With this name, I ended up playing at Awakenings on a Saturday, which is the most popular techno event in Holland or worldwide maybe. And then the next Sunday I would play at Latin Village, which is like a more Afro beats, Latin house kind of vibe. So at some point I realized okay, what I need to do is within the music that I play, I need to separate some stuff just to make it easier to understand for people. I had these thoughts for a long while already, but I didn't have the music to go with it. My father passed away in 2010, and this is when I took my sabbatical. It actually started out as I'm gonna cancel my gigs for the next 2 months. Yeah, gonna take some time out, to recover from everything that happens with my father. Well, 2 months ended up being 2 years, 2.5 years, and in this period I made so much music, and it was this raw stuff. And music is a good way to explain yourself and to understand yourself as well, And sometimes maybe you can't put it in words, but you can always put it in music. I don't use any earplugs or whatever, which is stupid, which is also in regard to the future. When people say you have to think about your future, blah blah blah, you don't want to end up deaf. And I'm like, I rather hear everything now while I'm still in it, and I just want to be in it now. Hear the music. That's it, and that's what I really love about DJing. Just hearing the music really loud, and then the people they're cool, and the money's nice, but it's the music.